Hello. Today I'll be giving a brief overview of my Etude hammer release and pull. This Etude goes over the left-hand concept of tap, pull, and release. Hammer and tap are interchangeable in words; they mean the same thing. I'll briefly explain the concept of hammer and tap. Hammer and tap simply means to have an audible sound when you place your left finger. The way we do that is we have to load our hand, which means rotate or pronate, and then rotate back down. So load, place, load, place, load, place, load, place, load, place. And release, in the concept of playing, just means to let go. Let go. Let go. So you can practice these ideas without even using your bow at all, or even any notes. You just hammer, release, hammer, release, hammer, release. Now the idea of pull is a similar concept to the left-hand pizzicato. We don't intentionally want to give a full pitch, but if it's a little pitch like this, we can. So pull simply means as you're going downwards, like in a down scale, means to pull to the left of the string so you can get kind of an audible pitch. And as you're pulling, you also want to feel your hand rotate, pronate to your face. Tricky, but one way you can practice that is to maybe physically move your string to the left. Just practice this idea: pull, release, pull, release, pull, release, pull, release. Another idea is to simply get rid of the string entirely if that's still too much. Just go in, release, pull, release, pull, release. This is the physical motion that's happening realistically when we're doing this pull. So we're doing this. Thumb isn't really involved, it's the fingers. It's like you're trying to grab. So, for this first part of my etude, I say that my instructions are to tap on the top of your cello. You can tap here, you can tap here. I'm going to tap here so you can physically see it. So the first instruction is tap the first finger. Tap, 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 tap. Maybe do 2 sets of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably a good idea to set it with a metronome. I would personally set it to maybe quarter note equals 60 and go from there. Now that if that's too fast, go slower, as long as you're keeping a rhythm. And then next you go to second finger. As you go to the second finger, still think load, 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 load. And third finger, I'm loading with my first and second fingers, set pivot on the first and second. Load, hammer, load, hammer, load, hammer, load, hammer, load, hammer, load. Fourth finger. And I even put my thumb, which we will rarely do in context because our thumb is usually an anchor point. But sometimes we do need to have our thumb hammer and pull. So practice that. Not only is this good to get the concept of the hammer, it's also good to get your fingers kind of more individually strengthened. Usually our pinky is our weakest, which is why it's good to have this rotation. Good. So this next part of the etude is only going to have to do with tapping and loading. So what we do is, even though you probably are thinking, how do I how do I load an open string? Because I'm not holding any of my fingers. The one finger that's going to help with the loading of the open string is our thumb. You want to make sure our thumb is placed at least somewhere on the finger where it's not pushing, not squeezing, it's just there, placed. But from there we can still rotate like this as much as we want. So before we even play, we load, we pluck, load, load, again, plug, load, tap, load, tap, load, tap, load, plug, load, tap, load, tap, load, tap. My third finger didn't come out as I was coming up, so I'll do it again. There you go. You want to audibly hear these pitches. Oh, my three didn't come out. There it goes. It's important to keep the thumb free of tension and not squeezing, because if you're tense, it's so hard to have this motion here. But if we're practicing this release of our thumb and the rotation, it should get better. However, if you're having trouble rotating between the notes, then maybe just stick with one note. Go between 1 and 3. Tap, release, tap, load, tap, load, tap, load. And go to the next one. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, load. These are different variations you can do to get this more comfortable. And so forth. Load, load. And now coming down, we do the opposite. We rotate, but we'll pull. Play, pull, play, pull, play, pull, play, pull, play, pull, play, pull. Now put it together. Try it with the bow. This idea is to efficiently get a good tone out of our left hand without forcing it from the bow. I can play super quiet, but if I'm not, we'll play it 2 different ways. That's without tap. Now I'm not going to change any weight or bow speed in the bow hand. Tap and the pull method, the notes articulate a lot more and allow the sound to come out without working so hard. Also, it allows our hand to be a lot more organized, and so when we play fast, we're able to keep our hands a lot more organized and closer to its joints. Meaning, there's some students who play, especially when they're coming down, they load up their fingers really high. They do something like that. They go really high to the sky. I'd rather this method keeps us close and grounded. So it allows us to kind of just keep our hands flexible and play faster and a lot cleaner without having to kind of work so hard, travel through distance. Now, I put a little example from, probably recognize it, from Bach's Minuet No. 2, from the Suzuki Book 1, or Anna Magdalena's notebook. Here is the idea and context. Maybe try it without the bow first and see how far you get. context, the articulation will come out so much more. Give that a go and really feel the tap and feel the pulls. Pulls will only happen when we're coming downwards, by the way, if I didn't say that earlier. And taps will only happen when we go up. So hopefully that explains a little bit of my left hand etude, and definitely we'll go over it more in our next lesson. But if you have any questions, feel free to give me a text or shoot me an email. Thank you. Have a nice day.